the Pats home opener tomorrow night. Well, obviously, you'll be there, Rems.
Oh, of course. I'm going to the home and home. It's Pats Warriors home and home, baby. Woohoo!
Doesn't get much better.
No. I love it because how many years has it been since the Pats and Warriors started the season with the home and home? I mean, maybe it did happen a couple 2 or 3 years ago, but I mean, I
should
think
be every year.
Over the last 20 years, it might be 2 or 3 times. I love it. I think that's the way to kick off the season.
And by the way, what's great about Winnipeg being back in the dub, and I don't like to see the small market teams contract or move. I loved Cranbrook. I got family there. I loved going to Cranbrook every time we did. But that's their problem. I'm reading the Winnipeg paper this morning. Big story on the ice. And Peyton Krebs back from first-round pick of the Knights, and the kid Savoy's going to play, they say, 20 to 40 games they expect. They got a great goalie in Dean McNabb. This is in the Winnipeg Free Press.
Amazing.
This is great for the dub.
Yeah.
And that they open up Friday night against the Brandon Wheat Kings. They would never have been writing about the dub before that.
But this is a dream for the Wheat Kings because they've always kind of been in that limbo where they don't really have a strong rival. You know, and so because of that, the Pats were, and I hate to say things like this, but it's true, the Pats were very often forced to have an open with the Brandon Wheat Kings for a home and home to start the year for how many years? Because Kelly carried a lot of stroke around there. And it's like, well, this is the closest thing we have to a rivalry. So, so now the Warriors are playing in Swift but now it's perfect because now you got all these natural rivalries. You got Winnipeg and Brandon is going to be a rivalry. Then you got Moose Jaw Regina. You got PA and Saskatoon.
Swift Current and Medicine Hat.
Swift Current and Medicine Hat. Right? Swift Current and Medicine Hat. Then all the Alberta teams, like Red Deer's a rival, natural rivalry with both Edmonton and Calgary.
Yeah.
Lethbridge and Calgary, perfect rivalry. It's just the right time for this, I think.
Yes, and it is. And it's the right time in the evolution of the two teams. Brandon, I really think is going to be kind of like Saskatoon was last year. They're going to be really good. They're just on the climb. It's next year and the year after when Brandon's going to compete. But Winnipeg's climbing too with the Krebs kid and the Savoy. So having them come into the league with a new rival now like Brandon, and they're going to be really competitive with each other, that should stoke that thing up really quick.
Just ahead of some comments on Patrik Laine's comments, and a reminder to our viewers, next hour we'll be going deep on CFL talk when Rob Vanstone joins us at the Leader Post and Rider Hall of Famer Dan Rashovich. Just ahead of all that, I do want to send a shout out to Perkin Taps. I have to.
Do you have a
coffee house?
A personal thing of treats that's right there? Like you just snuck a whole box of treats?
I brought the box up here because they bring coffee and the best treats every day.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where now our co-hosts are expecting it, which is a little too much. But they always write a joke on the box, and I had to bring the box out to remind myself what the joke was today. Kelly, why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. Ba-dum-bum. Yesterday it was, why did the ghost take the elevator? To lift his spirits.
Oh, God. Hey, what do you call a Smurf with acne? Papa Zit.
Oh, my God. So Perkin Taps will be there this weekend. 4,000 James Hill Road, right, Tyler? Ew, boy.
I made that one up in high school.
Can you get the Fred Flintstone? Ew, boy.
Working on it.
Oh, boy. I remember that.
I got to stop eating at these cheap restaurants.
What do they need a fire department for? The whole town's made of rock. Remember that one?
No, all I got is... Oh.
Stop. You can't find the Fred Flintstone.
No.
I've tried.
I tried.
You can't find it. Ooh, boy. We'll have to do it ourselves. Patrik Laine's comments. We touched on this yesterday. The question came from Jamie Neugebauer here, Nugsy, the voice of the Notre Dame Hounds. We talked about it yesterday. And actually, I was watching the Jets game last night where Sarah Orleski talked about this. Is there a chance that Laine's comments were lost in translation? I would hope for Laine's sake that they are, because he said it in Finnish in a Finnish newspaper. Every team has a top line, and then there's our line.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, I see Bob Irving on Twitter, the voice of the Winnipeg sportscasting legend, who said, this kid's always been refreshing with his candor. Right now he needs to zip it, said Bob. Maybe he just doesn't want to be in Winnipeg. And I'm not going to sit here and pick on Winnipeg because they're going through some tough times with their football team and now their hockey team. I had it written down here to see if the window has closed. Not is it closing, has it closed for the Winnipeg Jets? You get to a conference final against Vegas, and then last year you lose in 5 to St. Louis, and then you lose Tyler Myers and Jacob Trouba, and Buff doesn't even know if he wants to return. Laine doesn't know if he wants to return.
Yeah.
And
but you know what? Quit being a part-timer. Show up to play every single game, and maybe you would be on the first line. But when they don't trust them because they don't know which Laine is going to show up, how do you just see... Here we go again. Entitlement for these guys, these stars.
Yeah.
They just get used to it.
Well, it's getting to be too much. Guys are getting paid $10 million a year now that haven't accomplished anything. They haven't won anything.
Mitch Marner, I just read an article on him. Hasn't scored 30 goals yet. Where did I read this? And look, he's getting $11 million.
No, but he's been leading the team in points, and he's been doing other things.
Do you think he's worth $11 million a year?
By today's NHL, probably.
Hey,
yeah.
the Minnesota Vikings paid a quarterback that hadn't done anything in his career, $90 million over 3 years, I think it was, on speculation that he might be good. When I saw that, I thought to myself, oh my God, is this where we're at now? And then you start seeing these, who's the guy from Arizona? I never even heard of the guy before.
The quarterback?
No, sorry, from the Phoenix Coyotes.
Clayton Keller.
Oh, geez, what was that, $6 or $7 million?
Ridiculous. He hadn't done anything either.
Come on.
Good agents. They got good agents who can sell the players.
I don't blame them.
But that's the way it's going. And then, I wonder if we're going to see the NBA bleed over into NHL with the load management. Now you're going to work these deals in, and are we going to see, hey, it's $11 million and he can't play more than 70 games in a year. You got to manage his load. We can't have him tired. Can't have him overworked. So he can get $11 million, but only for 70 games. I wonder at what point do we get to that level?
Oh, it's coming.
I wonder if it
Charleston Hughes didn't play on the weekend for load management. Really?
Yeah.
And that's Charleston's old school. I'm not saying he's obviously soft. I think he needed the rest. He's old.
Yeah.
These guys aren't old that you're talking about. And yeah, I got a problem, but we all got a problem with it. And the question is when it's not going to change.
No,
it's not changing until the fans say we're not putting up with it anymore. Rob Vanstone has entered the building, and we'll be talking Jets. You don't get a chance to talk Jets as much as you'd like, RV. But this is the way it's going. And I will be honest, this probably will all come out in my book when I write it one day. But I saw near the tail end of my 17 years in the Western Hockey League, the entitlement coming up through junior. I saw players having FUs on the bus with the coach. And I'm like, where is this going? Guys that obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting sick about this. And I just knew, because of human nature and society, this is going to filter its way into the pros.
Do you want to know?
And that's exactly what's happened.
I was talking to Labardius about this the other day. So here was my moment where I knew it's done. This is okay. So Steve Young, who was coaching Moose Jaw at the time, told me that now when you bench a player, he's a healthy scratch. It's expected now that you better phone the agent and make sure that the agent's okay with this, and you got to smooth it over with him. And because, God forbid that you get the agent mad at you, because now you'll never be endorsed and there won't be another player that he'll ever want to bring to your organization ever again.
So screwed up.
When the tail starts to wag the dog to the level where if you're a coach and you want to discipline a player for whatever reason, it could be an off-ice issue, whatever, you got to pick up the phone and phone the agent now and make sure that he understands you're walking on eggshells all the time, that they don't get mad at you because they may never want another player to play for your organization ever again.
Because you had the nerve.
To make him accountable.
It's becoming, it's business and it's not sports. It's going away from being sports. And with the unions being involved and the players having a union and all those types of things, it's now something that can be grieved. You want to send me home from work for the day and there's got to be a reason. You want to discipline me at work. Is it justified? Can I argue it? You know what I mean? It's no longer just being on a sports team, and that's a little bit scary.
Yes, and I will just say before we go for hour one, I saw on a message board, somebody said, it's like Rod doesn't want to be affiliated with a sports team anymore, based by my actions on this show. And I'm like, tell him what he's won, Bob. No, I don't. This is where it's at. Doing a talk show every day, talking about this stuff and saying whatever the hell we damn well please. That is what this business is missing. I want to do it for 20 years. If you guys will have me.
That's it.
It's the greatest thing ever.
And you got Vanstone.
We got Robert Vanstone.
He's never cared. One thing I've always loved about Rob, he's never cared about having to write I'm actually being really serious. It can't be easy to write a scathing article about a coach or something and then march your butt in there the next day and walk right up to him and, how you doing, coach? Like knowing that you're probably going to get a blast.
Well,
speaking of the Flintstones, but he never stopped him from doing it.
Well, ask him about that. And by the way, Sean writes in today and says, lots of Jets talk. Who will be the fan home team at the Classic in a month? Flames Jets meeting here at Mosaic Stadium on October the 26th. We'll talk to RV about that and more next hour. Thanks, Remps. Appreciate it.
There's a guy who needs to be straightened out, this Eric guy.
Go ahead and read it. Just say it.
I normally can't stand Rempel, but today he's killing it. Agreed with everything he said.
Take that as a compliment.
Thanks for your endorsement, Eric.
You know what, Kelly? Everybody hates you, but I like you.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. Or here's one that you laid on a guy one time. You know, the more I get to know you, the more I'm starting to like you.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Who was it to?
I think it might have been Jamont. Way back in the day.
The more I get to that,
I'm starting to like you.
I said that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't doubt it.
Great.
We're not
Okay.
surprised.
Thanks, Rems.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.